Hello, my name is Maya K. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Teen Mom 2 Season 1 Episode 1. Now, I was going to review Love After Lockup, Family or Fiance. I don't know. I said I was going to review a bunch of different stuff, but none of them made the cut, and I decided to just go with a safe option, something I know that's going to be interesting. And I noticed that a lot of people who are subscribed to my channel are also subscribed to Teen Mom, so hopefully you guys will like this as well. If you don't, let me know what you would like me to review. I'm open to anything. Yeah, just let me know in the comments. But for right now, I'm just going to review Season 1 of Teen Mom 2 and sprinkle a little 16 and pregnant here and there anytime I need to take a break. Teen Mom 2, even though they're kind of similar but way different in the same sentence. But yeah, anyways, let's get into the episode. In Teen Mom 2, we have Caitlin, Leah, Chelsea, and Janelle. We start off with Leah. Her and Corey are not together at this time because Leah cheated on Corey with an ex-boyfriend named Robbie, but she regrets it and wants to get her family back together. She has two daughters named Alea and Allie. And I think what caused Leah to cheat, well, at least this time, because I'm pretty sure she goes on to cheat again and cheat on Jeremy too, but getting too ahead of myself. But I think she cheated this time because things were just moving way too fast for her, because I think they were only together for about like a month before they got pregnant with the twins and had moved in together and basically play house. And I think it was way too much for Leah, so she decided to run to Robbie, who I guess was like something fun to escape her reality. So I think that's the reason why she cheated. But to be honest, I think Leah just likes to cheat, I guess, because like I said, she goes on to do it in the future. She was still wrong at the end of the day. I'm not justifying anything she did, because Corey was still trying to make things work with Leah, because I believe going through a rough patch in their relationship, so he was trying to make it work and put effort for her, but Leah wasn't. Now that she realizes the grass isn't green on the other side, she wants to come back along this way, but Corey isn't allowing it. When I was watching this, I'm like, good for Corey. You don't need to be one who cheats on you and who just doesn't take into consideration how you feel, and someone who doesn't respect you. But then I go on and remember that they end up getting married in like season 2, so it really doesn't even matter. Anyways, now that her and Corey aren't together, during the week she has the twins, and on the weekends Corey has the twins, and I think he lives with his dad at the moment. Leah's still in the trailer, and she stays at home during the week to take care of the girls, of course, and she's also a senior in high school. So it's been really rough on her trying to finish her schoolwork, but it's all about to pay off because she is about to graduate. She invited Corey to the graduation hoping he'll come. She mentioned this to him when they go sit at like this park, and I noticed they're eating Dairy Queen. The reason why I noticed that, because they were like in the same park on 16 and Pregnant eating Dairy Queen when she was pregnant. That's just something I noticed, because I just don't really see people eat Dairy Queen a lot. I don't know, but this was nearly over 10 years ago, so it really doesn't matter at this point. While they're at the park, Leah pulls this card talking about how happy they were in a relationship and blah blah blah, and you know, all of that stuff will try to tell you just to kind of manipulate you back into like being with them. But Corey was like, no, yeah, we were in love until you randomly cheated on me, and now we're not in love. And even though they end up getting married later on, at this moment I was really proud of Corey for like sticking up for herself and realizing just because they have kids, I mean that they have to be together and put themselves through hell for no reason, or put himself through hell. But anyways, it's frustrating to Leah because she just wants Corey to put the past behind them and move on. But you can't tell anyone how long they should be upset or when they should get ready to move on with their lives and with themselves. That's how it works. You can't get somebody mad and then tell them how mad to be or how long to be mad. That's not really how it works. And then I don't think Corey had any interest in being with her at this moment. I feel like she needs to respect that, and then if he wants to be with her, he'll eventually come along. Then Leah goes to her house and she's sitting and talking to her friend Kayla. For some reason, they all have these ugly lip piercing, like the one at the top of the lip and then the one at the bottom of the lip. Oh my gosh, I cannot stand those with a passion, especially because like the hole is there forever, so I notice it every single time and I just hate it. But that's not the point. All they really talk about is how Leah wants Corey back and she really wants to fix things, but never messed it up to begin with. I have no sympathy for Leah in this part because don't cheat on people. Like, that's just one of my biggest pet peeves, I guess you can call it. When someone cheats on somebody, then they want to play victim and like want them back and act like they didn't do anything wrong. Or they know they did something wrong, but they want that person to hurry up and move on from what they did, and that's just like not how it works. You can't tell someone when they should move on, like I said earlier. So she can't really be mad at anyone but herself. Let's move on to Caitlin. So is it Caitlin or Kaylin? You would think I would know by this point, but I feel like I've heard her say Caitlin and like other people say Caitlin. Caitlin, but I feel like it's Caitlin. I don't know, I'm just gonna call her Kel because that's what most people call her anyways. But moving on, this was when Kel was like actually likable in my opinion. I'm not saying she's not likable now, but it makes it harder to like her. And this is when I absolutely despised Joe because I felt like he just wanted to see this girl fail just for his pleasure, even though that's the mother of his child. But let's get into the segment. Kel's and Joe's relationship was amazing at first, but when the baby came, reality hit and things got complicated. Like it's now 7 months and they do not even get along at this point, and we go to a scene of them yelling outside about the car, like how many miles are on the car, like where she's been, where she hasn't been, because she's supposed to be going to work, school, and back home, and I guess if she needs to go to the store to get diapers or whatever. But I guess Joe sees that like there's less miles on the car than what he thought it would be or what it should be. I was like yelling at her, asking her where she's been and blah 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 and all that stuff, but I feel like Kel wouldn't have time for anything else other than school and work, because I'm pretty sure as soon as she comes from work she has to go to school, or the other way around, and then she has to go home and take care of Isaac because she just can't leave him with Joe and or whoever he had stayed with for the day, and then she would have to come home and do homework. So I don't think she would really have time for anything else. Not really sure what Joe is complaining about, but once they go inside and cool down, Joe basically tells her, I don't want you living here with my parents anymore, and I feel like you're taking advantage of me and we're not together. And this scene was funny to me because it's like, how are you going to tell someone to get out of a house that you don't even pay for? Especially the mother of your child. And it's like, Isaac does have somewhere to stay, but realistically, me and y'all know that Joe is not gonna want to keep that baby 24/7, 7 days out of the week. Like, no one voluntarily just wants to be a single parent. So I just can't imagine like doing that to somebody. But then again, Joe was like in his villain era, I guess you could call it, so nothing that was like unpredictable. Now Kel needs to find somewhere to live. Next we move on to Chelsea. Now this may be an unpopular opinion and may be problematic depending on how you view it, but I am really not a big fan of Chelsea. Like, I don't hate her or like dislike her, but I'm also just not like jumping for joy either. So like, I guess you could say I'm kind of neutral on her, but there are moments when I really dislike her and I feel like, why are you doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Especially when she was still dating Adam in the beginning. So it attacked me, but like I said, I'm neutral when it comes to Chelsea. But let's get into Chelsea. She was a senior in high school when she got pregnant with her daughter Aubrey. And Adam has not been a lot of help since, and has come in and out of Aubrey's life, and things have been very difficult on her, especially because of school. She ended up falling behind and couldn't graduate with her class, but her school has allowed her to take this little online program that allows her to work from home, and her parents have been a lot of help to her since Aubrey has been here. And she is not with Adam anymore. I think I mentioned that. I don't know if I did or not, but I don't think I did. Mainly because he's extremely rude and disrespectful. We see a text message, an example of it. Said, I'll put it on the screen because I don't really feel like reading it, but you get the jazz. So the text message was really disgusting because he had said something about like him wanting to get rid of Aubrey or signing the papers over to Aubrey. And this was in the very beginning. The fact even after he said that she still wanted a romantic relationship with him is just babbling to me. But on the bright side, Chelsea is 18 and is getting ready to move out, and she's moving into like, I think one of Randy's like rental properties or something like that. Pretty nice house, and she's moving in there with her friend Megan so she can help out with Aubrey and so she won't be lonely, because I don't think Chelsea likes being alone, like physically and like in a romantic relationship when it comes to stuff like that. I really had no idea what I just said. I think I was kind of rambling on, but anyways, she's really excited about it because she gets to be independent and be on her own, and she doesn't think it's gonna be too different from living with her dad. And I do think it's kind of going to be different in a sense, just because anytime you do move out on your own, it's always going to be different whether you realize it or not. Maybe in some ways the same, but I definitely think it's going to be different, especially with her having Aubrey. And it making it easier for Adam just to walk back in her life now that her dad isn't kind of like there to keep an eye on her. But we will get into that later on in the season. Move on to Janelle. Jace is 9 months, and through his whole life, Janelle has basically been partying and throwing off her responsibilities of Jace. She did graduate and she does plan on going to college in the fall. Andrew just completely ghosted them, and he is modeling in China. He hasn't really been there, and Barbara is the main caregiver of Jace, which that's wild to me that Jace's dad went off to model in China. Now that I think about it, like, where is Jace's dad, like, in present time? Is he alive, dead? I don't know, because during like the show and like during like the very ending when they were on the show, they talked about him wanting to like see Jace again. But Janelle was just like not down for Andrew coming back in Jace's life. Well, he was never there to begin with, so entering his life. And I don't think it ever like went anywhere from there. I don't exactly remember too much, but I can't find anything on like Andrew filming or being on camera, because I'm pretty sure MTV will want to film and catch that. I don't know, but if you know where Andrew is in life now or anything, please let me know in the comments, because I'm kind of interested. Like, go down the path Janelle's on? Is he down in a better path, a worse path? I don't know. I really just want to know, especially because I feel like certain people, like once they stop filming with MTV, you cannot find anything again on these people. Maybe that's just me. I feel like the people in their lives, like their baby daddies or ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends, added to the character, to the person they are today. So I just want to see where they are, but I'm starting to rant, so let's get back into Janelle. But before I actually get back into Janelle, I want to rant again, because I heard this like rumor. I don't know where I heard it from, but her and Andrew have been together ever since she was like 13 or 14, and I think Andrew is like way older than Janelle. Well, not way older, but it was like one of those relationships where like Janelle may have been like 14 and Andrew may have been like 18 or 17 or something of that sort. And I think he was older than her, because I remember from her 16 and pregnant episode, he was always getting arrested for drink driving, and they never mentioned underage drinking. So obviously when they were filming the 16 and pregnant episode, he had to be at least 21. But anyways, the rumor that I heard was that they had planned Jace's pregnancy, like they had broke up, then they had got back together and like decided they were gonna have a baby or something like that. And that's how she ended up pregnant with Jace, and then she of course got on 16 and pregnant. Maybe I'm making that up, and maybe like I fabricated all of that, but I really think I heard that somewhere, and like maybe I'm like making that up, but I could have sworn I seen it like on a Teenmom page or like in the comment sections of a Teenmom page, but I don't know. Like, let me actually get back into Janelle this time. Janelle and Barbara are both glad that Andrew's out of the picture, as it makes things easier to parent Jace, and she doesn't have two irresponsible children trying to play parent. Barbara feels like Andrew was no good to Janelle. Janelle goes on to say that she just wants to focus on school, Jace, and just making sure she graduates. Barbara says also focus on partying. Then Janelle says she only goes out on the weekends, but Barbara has a completely different story, saying she goes out all during the week. Barbara used an example as yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday, and Janelle decided to go out, and then Janelle says it was Saturday. Those are the days like you party, I guess, or whatever. And she acts like on Fridays and Saturdays your responsibilities just magically disappear. I wish they magically disappeared. I wouldn't have to deal with the consequences of them or deal with them period until the Monday of that week. But that's not how responsibilities work, especially your child. Your child is a 24/7, 7-day-a-week job that you just can't pick up and quit and like hope they're okay with it and hope they deal with it. Like, that's not how you do people in general, especially your own child. At this time, Janelle's biggest beef with Barbara was that Barbara was playing mom to Jace, but Janelle wasn't being a mom to Jace either though. Jace had to be taken care of regardless, whether Barbara wanted to do it or whether she wanted to do it. Jace is a baby, he can't fend for himself. Next, we move back around to Leah, where her mom is taking her to get her hair done for graduation. She still doesn't know if Corey's coming, but she hopes he does, even though they've been going through a lot at that time. Still wants him there for his support, and I definitely understand if Corey didn't want to be there just because it brings up old emotions and all. And that's not really a time or place for him to deal with all of that, so I get it if he didn't want to come. I also get if he did want to come. I wouldn't go, but that's just me. Next, we move back around to Chelsea. Chelsea and Megan have settled down in their new house, and they really can't do anything without Aubrey because Chelsea doesn't have a babysitter. Friends are coming to them, and they sit down, they just really talk about Adam, and Chelsea says that she doesn't miss Adam, but still hurts to see him though. And she doesn't know if they can get to the point of like being friends and like friendly with each other. And Adam does help out a little, but he is on child support and he pays it when he can. Overall, he's really not helping her. She's hoping things get better and at least they become cordial. And I don't think she was telling the truth when she said that she didn't want to be with Adam, because I even think like later on in this season or like in other seasons they get back together, and I don't know if she even like want to romantically be involved with Adam. I think she was just more obsessed with the idea of like the picture perfect family. I think that's great and all, but it's only great when you have two parents who actually love and care for each other and who are healthy. Like the parents low-key hate each other, children can pick up on that and they can feel and see the tension. So it's like even if you do give like your child that picture perfect family, it can do more harm in the end than it will just having you being single or go find someone else who will give you that healthy relationship. And I think Chelsea realized that down the line because she got with Cole, so I'm really happy for her. Now that we look at the perspective of like the overall life of Chelsea on Teen Mom 2, that's good. And I always said that like I wasn't a crazy fan about Chelsea or her storyline, but I really do like the overall picture of her storyline, if that makes sense. Like how it showed even if you come from money and a decent family, you can still make messed up decisions, and even if it's bad and hard right now, you can still have your happily ever after. I feel like MTV portrayed that really well, especially with Chelsea, because she did get her happily ever after. Like she got Cole, she got the kids that she wanted. I mean, I guess she ended up having them, so she had to want them. That white picket fence life, even though I'm pretty sure she lives on a farm now, but that's not the point. The point is that Chelsea's overall storyline on the show really had a good meaning behind it, and I felt like it had a good run. But enough about Chelsea, let's move on to Janelle. Janelle is giving Jace a bath, and something that I wonder why they didn't do is censor out Jace. It's like you can see his butt and stuff, and I don't know if like that should be seen on TV by like literally millions of people. I wish they would have blocked that out because that's just kind of weird. It wasn't a big deal then because I'm pretty sure they do like block it out now, but they should have been doing that 10 years ago, but that's not the point. After she gives him a bath, she puts him down for bed and she goes out with her friends, and she doesn't see a problem with that because Barbara could just watch him during the night. I'm pretty sure she didn't even ask her mom, she just went up and left. And the issue, just because the baby is asleep or the baby is preoccupied doesn't mean that you're done being a parent for the day or for like the next hour. That's really not how it works. Nell is really convinced that's how being a parent works or a teen parent works, but it's not, because I'm pretty sure there are plenty of things that Janelle could be doing to make sure Jace is okay, making bottles for him for the next day, packing snacks for him to go to daycare with, washing clothes, washing bottles. I don't know, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of stuff Janelle could do to make sure Jace is prepared to not go out and party with her friends. But going her to partying with her friends, she's going out with her friend Tori and Caitlin, and she wears like this blue shirt with cowgirl boots and like these shorts, and it was hideous. And not because it was on Janelle, just because in like 2010 I guess that's what people were wearing, but it just didn't seem right to me. Like I thought like some sandals or tennis shoes or something. Then on top of that, they all looked like they were going to different places. I don't remember exactly what everyone was wearing, but Janelle looked like she was going to Texas Roadhouse to say the least, and all of the rest of them looked like something completely different, but we're gonna move on. She goes out with her friends. The next day she comes home, she is dead asleep and isn't in the mood to do anything, and Barbara's once again stuck with the responsibilities of cleaning bottles, making bottles. Then she has to drop off Jace at daycare, which why is Jace going to daycare? So Janelle starts college in the fall, but I'm guessing this was summer when this was filmed, so why couldn't she keep Jace for the day? I mean, I get Barbara not like trusting her with Jace, but I feel like that says a lot in general. It's even wilder that she just can't keep her kid for a couple of hours. Her mom won't have to spend stupid money on daycare. Now, I don't know if daycare was as expensive as it is now, but I've always known that daycare is like cost money. I can remember like the girls on 16 and Pregnant calling daycares around to see if like they could find something decent so they could go back to like regular public high school. They had to be homeschooled, specifically Valerie. I remember that one. And just for one child, you're gonna be dishing out like a good $300 or $400. That's at like a decent price. It's just wow that she couldn't even keep her kid for a couple of hours at least. But next we move on to Kel, and she hasn't had time to think about the breakup between her and Joe because she's had to focus on school and work, but she goes out for breakfast with her mom and updates her on her life. Tells her that her and Joe broke up. Her mom, knowing her situation, her mom didn't even offer her a place to stay or like even bother to help out. But I felt like it was already weird to begin with when she let her go off and live with Joe's parents to begin with. I know very few parents, or at least decent parents, who would let their kids go live with their boyfriend and his parents just because she was pregnant. And I guess it was like the better option at the time, but it's really not the better option figuring how her and Joe were. But I only think the relationship got bad like after Isaac was born. Anyways, Caitlin was just a little disappointed that her mom didn't at least offer her to help or anything. I don't think she was too shocked, just because I think her mom has always disappointed her and not showed up for her in the way that she needed her to. Later on, she sits down with Janet and asks she can still live with them even though her and Joe aren't together, and Janet says yes, of course, you're like my daughter and it's all good and dandy. And even if Joe disappears, Janet will still be there for her and Isaac. We went to Janelle. She went out again and Barbara's giving her the cold shoulder because she's upset with her. Then they sit down and talk and Barbara explains how she's not okay with Janelle's behavior and going out every night and not being a good mother. Janelle says that she doesn't feel bad about going out because Jace is asleep, and she says that moms deserve breaks too. And not that she's wrong, but moms deserve breaks who are actually doing something. Janelle, you aren't doing anything. You may give him a bath and maybe change his diaper, but that's not enough to like need a full-on break from. Or you need to go out and get drunk with your friends every night. But obviously Janelle doesn't think like that, or even has any like concept of where her mom is even coming from. Then also Janelle goes on to say that you won't even let me change his diapers. It's basically saying you won't allow me to be a mom. Barbara says because you're always on your phone, and then eventually Janelle just walks off. But if you were doing what you were supposed to be doing from the very beginning, Barbara wouldn't be doing everything by default. It's like her motherly instincts just to go ahead and do it before anyone else has to do it. It's like with Jace, and Janelle doesn't have that because she just puts everything off on her mom. Next we move on to Leah, and it's time for her graduation. She's getting ready with her friend Kayla, and she texts Corey to see if he's gonna be there, and he doesn't respond to her. But she still has hope that he may come, and I'm watching this scene wondering why she is caking on that mascara so much. It's like, I definitely get with mascara, you have to do it a couple of times to make sure you get the right volume, the right color that you want, get all of that. But there is a high chance that she may cry at her graduation, so now you're just gonna have a bunch of black on your face. It's not gonna look pretty, and of course you have to remove a makeup wipe, but then you have to remove the rest of your makeup. It's setting yourself up for failure. You cake on so much mascara on your face, but this is her face, not mine, so let me not be too judgmental of them, especially because if I was like old enough to cake on mascara on my face in 2010, I probably would have, so let me not go in on her too much. Just the Allie's and Alea's outfits that they're wearing to the graduation, and they look like of like those grandmas from Christmas movies, or like the actor they choose, or like the outfit they put on, for like Mrs. Claus in movies. Exactly what they looked like, but they're cute babies, so they'll get a pass. And going to the graduation, Corey does not show up, and Leah's pretty upset because she feels like something really important to me and you wouldn't show up. But she doesn't get that Corey doesn't owe that to her when y'all aren't dating. At this point, he really doesn't owe her anything besides to like have a good relationship with their kids, like I said earlier. When it comes to anything romantic, no, I don't think they really owe each other anything, just not on Corey's side. I think she'll be a lot happier if she just were to remove those expectations of Corey. But next we're going to move on to Chelsea. Chelsea really needs to get her GED because the agreement with her dad was, if you get your GED and stay in school, I'll pay the bills for the house that you're living in. So it's really important that she gets this done, but anytime that she tries to study, is thrown off track with having to take care of Aubrey. And at some point she gets distracted. Her and Megan decide to go out shopping, and this guy Chris calls her that she used to go to school with. He's aware of like the relationship she had with Adam, and he asks her out on a date, and she says yes to the date. And to save both of us some trouble, to say the least, the date did not go very well. He was distracted with the baseball game and and she was irritated with that and just had no real interest in her. It's basically just like an Adam 2.0, and the fact that he hung around Adam should have been a red flag within itself. We all know at that time Chelsea loved to ignore red flags. But moving on to Kel, she's moving downstairs into the basement, and of course Joe is upset and he feels like it's a problem because she's living in his house even though it's his parents' house. They're the ones who pay the bills, not him. He really needs to get over it and get a grip, and this is for the better of Isaac at the end of the day, so Joe just needs to get a grip on the situation. Now I understand why Joe got treated so badly by Kel in like later seasons. Literally just his karma, I feel like, for how he treated Kel and how he acted. It was just his karma that came back around to bite him. Kel invites her friend over to talk about the situation between her and Joe because she hasn't really told anyone. She tells her friend that her and Joe broke up, and the two also talk about it's pretty awkward in the house because they have to be in the same room together at times and have to exchange Isaac off. This is the best situation at the moment because she can't afford to live on her own, and of course she can't rely on her mom because she's unreliable. Next we want to Janelle. Janelle gives Jace a bath and puts him on this limousine that's too big, and Janelle puts it on him, but Barbara ends up taking it off. Janelle ends up getting upset about that because she feels like she can't ever do anything for Jace, and her mother's always barging in. Barbara changed it because he's gonna get cold at night. She doesn't want him to be cold if the onesies falling off of him, so that's why she changed it to begin with, because she was trying to spite Janelle or try to be petty towards Janelle. Janelle gets upset and walks off to her room and goes and gets on her computer, and Barbara decides to unplug the internet for some mysterious reason. I think she wanted like Janelle's attention or something like that. Janelle gets really upset and goes and gets the Wi-Fi box from where Barbara didn't put it. And Barbara is of course getting back because she took the internet off for a reason, and Janelle slams the door in Barbara's face. So Barbara opens up the door and Janelle starts yelling at her, telling her to get out, leave me alone, and she eventually throws the Wi-Fi box at Barbara. Then Barbara starts yelling, and then Janelle starts yelling of course, and Janelle is yelling I want to be left alone, and Barbara's not leaving her alone, so Janelle physically shoves her mom out of the door. Basically has to get up all up in her face just for her mom to leave the room. It's really sad. I'm not saying Janelle was right by any means. I felt like Barbara escalated that situation farther than needed to go. Knowing how Janelle is and knowing how violent she can be, I don't know if I would have been like willing to put up a fight with her, to be honest. Especially me over just disconnecting the internet and wanting for her attention. I don't know if I've been willing to put up a fight with her, but that's just me. But Janelle was so wrong putting her hands on her mother for something so dumb and little. Let me clarify, I'm not making that okay in any form or way, but there's a way to like not let situations go farther than they need to go. And I don't think Barbara knows how to like do that to like stop a situation from getting out of hand. Next, move on to Leah. She invited Corey over for dinner when he comes and picks up the girls, and he says he'll stay over since he didn't come to her graduation. I mean, move on to Kel. She's been using work as her escape from the house since it's so awkward at the moment. She's been using her mom's car to get to work and school since Joe banned her from his car. And she's been making friends, and she made friends with this boy named Jordan, and he asked her out on a date. She says she'll think about it, and I remember this relationship, and I'm pretty sure Jordan was pretty good to her, but she ended up being like crappy to him. But we'll talk about that in a later video. Next, moving on to Janelle. She's been staying with her friends ever since she had that big fight with her mom. She's been wanting to see Jace, but her mom has been ignoring her calls, so she decided just to randomly pop up and hope for the best. When she gets to her mother's house, the police are there and she gets served with custody papers for Barbara filing for full custody of Jace. And Janelle automatically flips out and loses her mind on her mother. And the argument kind of goes from inside to outside, and it kind of switches back and forth. For the most part, it was outside and just like Janelle yelling at her mother all in her mother's face, pushing her, just overall disrespecting her. And this is kind of hard for me to watch because I don't think Barbara really deserves that. After all she's done for Janelle, she has a place to stay because of her. She has her baby taken care of because of Barbara, so I don't really understand why she treats her mom so bad. And I understand that there's probably a lot of stuff that happened before the MTV cameras got there and during the MTV camera era, But if someone has just like hurt me that bad to the point I feel the need to do all of that, I'd rather just walk away and not have any communication with them. Well, Janelle can't exactly do that because that's kind of where she lives, but ideally that's what I would do. But then also in just Janelle, it's very hard for me to watch a lot of Janelle's scenes, even like when I watch later seasons, because I am talking about it, but I also like watch the show for like my own personal needs. Sounded weird, but you get what I'm saying. I watch it for my own personal pleasure. I'm like in that era where she had Kaiser, and like Kaiser wasn't that old, but she was still with Nathan and they were in like a terrible relationship. It's really hard for me to watch because it reminds me of like the relationship that I saw between my parents and like their partners or whoever they were with at the time, and it's just kind of hard for me to watch because I don't really like to think about that part of my childhood. It's kind of hard for me to watch. But enough about me. This isn't about me. This is about Janelle and her issues. After the fight, Janelle ends up walking off and she's very upset and basically doesn't understand why this is happening. But if she was being like an even somewhat decent mother, this wouldn't even be a conversation to begin with. But as we know, Janelle is a very delusional person. Next we go on the Chelsea. She's at her dad's house talking about how her life has changed so much in 18 months. Then she had talk about how she thought she would have that happily ever after with Adam, but of course that is not the case. But then she starts to cry because I think she has a realization that this is not what she idealed for herself and that she doesn't have her happily ever after. Her dad tells her that your happily ever after will come, maybe not as soon as you want it to, because knowing your age is going to want to play step parent your daughter, or want to have as big a responsibility that comes with you having a child. And something I really appreciate about Randy is he still finds a way to console his daughter and be honest with her in the same breath without completely tearing her down, because I feel like a lot of people are not very good at that, even myself maybe. Not the way to be honest with her and real with her, but still kind and gentle in a way so she could receive it. I think the real issue is that Chelsea doesn't like the idea of being alone or having to do anything alone in general. So she may even not want to be with Adam or even be in a relationship. I think she just doesn't want to be alone. I don't know if she even ever dealt with that, because even still to this day she kind of still has like that codependency thing going on. It's not with Adam, it's with Cole now, and still doesn't like the idea of being alone, which I think her codependency plays into that as well. But last when we move on to Leah, she's cooking for Corey since he agreed to come over. She's cooking yellow cake and I believe chicken and mac and cheese. And I see in Leah's kitchen she had like those decoration bottles that had like random like peppers and like spices in it, like garlic and olives and stuff like that, and it reminds me of like my grandma's house for some reason. And I don't think like her house is grandma decorating theme. I think that was just where the decorating room was at that time, so I don't think it was just Leah. But back to like the actual scene that's happening, they sit down, they start talking. Corey's talking about how his dad is super uncomfortable and he wakes up with his back aching every day, and Leah says that her bed is more comfortable, but then Corey says a slick comment by saying, I don't know who's been in that bed since she cheated, and that's the whole reason why they're not even together at this time. And she did not like that comment because she's obviously trying to fix it and make things better, but you can't tell someone when they should move on and how they should move on. I understand if y'all are gonna be together, but Corey hasn't made that decision yet and he's still in the works of the decision. But she wished Corey would just forgive her and move on and realize that everyone makes mistakes. And she's right, everyone does make mistakes, but there are consequences to your mistakes. There's consequences to just life choices in general. The consequences can be bad or good, and you just have to be ready to deal with them whether you want to or not. But to say the least, no one's really happy. So Leah is cooking a cake like I said earlier, and she pulls the cake out of the oven. This is like one of the funniest scenes in like Teen Mom history to me. But Corey says he doesn't want any cornbread, but it's actually cake. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it just is. She ends up writing I love you on the cake, and Corey starts to cry and gets emotional because I think he wants to be with Leah, but I think it's very hard for him to move on from the decision that she ended up making. But I believe they end up moving past it and they end up getting married, I believe. But yeah, Leah even got him a card saying how sorry she was and that she loves him. But that's where the dinner ends because it's late and he needs to take the girls to his dad's house. But yeah, that was the end of the episode, which this is a very long video. I did not think it was going to be this long, but I guess it is. Tell me what you think of the video. Tell me what you think of Teen Mom 2 or anything you want to talk about, rant about. I'm here for it. And I'm over to reviewing other shows because now I have Paramount Plus. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you want, and bye.